Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. How you all doing this early Friday morning? Uh, doing this live stream in Rwanda. Yes, 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 I'm still here in Rwanda. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Friday, April 12th, 2024, and the time here in Rwanda is 1:59 a.m. Yeah, I woke up early. I went to bed early last night. Yes, I felt a little tired, and yeah, now it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I went to bed early. After going out, yeah, I'm still getting over cold-like symptoms. Yeah, I had my body just felt cold, easily got cold. Um, my throat, that was the first thing. A week ago, Thursday, I started to get a sore throat after drinking this ginger tea. I've had ginger tea before. It's homemade. And it just didn't go away. And I started to sneeze and runny nose. Uh-oh. Yeah. But slowly but surely, I stayed in, I sequestered myself for the weekend and all of this week. I went out a little bit 2 days ago just to walk the dog a little bit, just in the immediate area. And let's see, Lavender, the Pekingese, he had a doctor's appointment. That's also why I went out yesterday. Had a doctor's appointment for him, and they did blood work on him. And weighed him also. Yes, Labby boy. Labby boy. Yes, he definitely gained weight. He weighs either 5.5 or 5.6 kilograms, which means he's over 12 pounds. Yeah, so last time I remember him, he was weighing just a little over 10 pounds. Yeah, so he gained like 2 pounds, which is a lot for a little dog. Yeah, he's gained weight, and his walk is kind of like he's walking really heavy. Like, yeah, he's a Pekingese have short legs, and he was always very agile. But I find that he um, seems to have some challenges going up like a little curve or something like that. Yes, yeah, you can feel his like belly. Yeah, he has a tight little tummy. But boy, he got something there. Yeah, yeah. Before all this mess with my little boy back in the States. Again, this is just 4 months ago. 4 months since we left. Originally left. We left in uh, the first week of. Let's see, they left December 2. Yeah, actually December 2. So 4 months ago, little over 4 months, all this mess. And yeah, an agile little guy, walks the storm. He's always compact, active, and all that. And now looking at him and seeing, you know, um, yeah, he's still not clearly out of the woods, people. Yes, his appetite is back big time. Lavi's appetite is back. Um, for about a month now. Yeah, he's been eating, wanting more. Um, I was, let's say, about 1 month now. I was blending his food. He eats the rice and beef, and I might put a little bit of oil because month ago, he was still very emaciated. Yeah, yeah, he was all you could feel all his ribs, his spine. Yeah, he was a bony fellow, weak. Um, so now I don't put as much of the oil. His hair is nice and soft now. His hair is really, really soft. Um, but now I have to cut back. I have to cut back on his food, but he needs the nutrition. So, um, so it's a plane coming. Sorry about that. Yeah, there are a lot of planes that come here. Oh, okay. He just wanted to didn't want to compete with that. Yeah, so his appetite is back, but he seems to have some difficulty labored. His walking seems labored, but once in a while, when he sees that I'm preparing food, boy, he starts to move fast. He'll follow you. He'll race in that kitchen when you think they're going to prepare food for him. Yes, he's very food oriented. It seems now. But it's really weird. Those of you who have been following um, the news on Lavender, my little dog. Um, yeah, he avoided what do you call it, food avoidance. You present the food. I shared the video. I think I shared the video. I had some food in a bowl, um, and he didn't want to eat it. It was beef, beef and rice, like they told me to get, but I boiled it and um I like shredded it, like I had boiled the meat and it was tender, and then I just shredded it, and he refused. I was really scared for him. He just didn't want to eat. Now he just it's like he just discovered food. So yeah, his blood work, his RBCs, red blood cells, did increase. It's level to was it 25, but um, it's still way below what's healthy. So even though it increased, he is still under. He's still very anemic. So that also definitely will affect his ability, energy ability when you're anemic like that. Um, so with his extra weight now, you know, extra weight is extra weight. It's not like muscles and I think it's a lot of fat, But he's a tight little guy. But it's I could see that yeah, and the doctors could see that he kind of like wobbles when he walks. Yeah, it might look funny, but um, I have to keep him now at a healthy weight. He it was hard for him to walk when he was severely underweight. But now he's still anemic, and now with the extra weight, so I have to really be on it with this food. I did give in, a lot of times like I was feeding him from 3 to 4 times a day. He was just very demanding. He just wanted the food. Like, because he was initially very underweight, I would feed him on demand, and I was just so pleased that he was gaining back his appetite. So I thought it'd be everything was going to go, smoothly uphill and everything. Um, so yes, his RBCs did improve. The only thing that did not really improve, um, what do you call it? Well, there's he had let's see, they checked his blood panels. What do you call it? His liver, the the I forget what the term is, but his liver levels went up slightly, and they just said, okay, because he's on steroids, so that will affect his liver. But his kidneys, they said, is good. His kidneys are good. He is urinating a lot. Uh, and I guess in part, like the doctor's trying to figure out, okay, is he peeing a lot because you're adding, you're feeding him more water? What is it? So I said, it could be a combination of both. He was peeing a lot, so that's why I added more liquid into his food. Um, but what's initially causing it? Is it the steroids or both? So I have a feeling it's both because I am, I'm seeing that he was peeing. So I added more broth to his food. He seems to really like the broth. Yes, good morning, early morning. Here in Rwanda, how you doing? I see if we have a viewer. Yeah, so yes, I want to be careful with how much liquid. His kidneys are good, they said. Um, Liver is just increased slightly. What else? RBCs went up, but it's still not a healthy level yet. So slowly but surely, he's building up his red blood cells. Um, yeah, I carry him all over. I carry him everywhere. But I see like before I had the cold symptoms, I was walking him. I mean, I would be walking outside with him in the sling that I showed you guys. But I notice now, like he's getting familiar with the neighborhood, and when I get to the corner where I live, that block, that's when he wants to get. He starts to like squirm in his a storm, boy. Yes, he did. He got all excited. So I want him to get a little exercise, and I figured going downhill, so it's less strenuous than going uphill. So I let him walk a little bit. I want to get some exercise. Um, so that's what's happening with him. So yes, please continue to pray for him. I really love Lavender. Um, yeah, I stopped blending his food. I think today would be day 3, and I see that um, that's the only thing I changed in his diet because I was blending his food for about a month, and it's getting messy with the blender. Um, and so I said, hey, let me just chop up his food really fine with the butcher knife. He still seems to eat it. He seems to like it. And I thought maybe the texture might be better for him, give him a sense like he's chewing. Maybe he might slow his eating, to slow down because he's eating it really fast. Um, but I see that um, his bowels are a little loose, and I told that to the doctor, and he said, "Well, sometimes when you change a diet or change the type of protein, um, sister could be funny. So, um, so maybe I might try to blend again. Maybe I might need to do that. So we see, yeah. So he had like a little accident last night. Yeah, it was a big mess yeah, he had gone. I had the door open so he could um, go in the bathroom to potty, and I heard a noise of distress coming from him. So I shot out of that bed. Yeah, I'm a very light sleeper. I hear everything, and when your little children someone making a sound of a duress or whatever, you get your butt up. So I got up and I saw that I had to turn on the lights to see what's going on. Yeah, he had gone potty earlier and little messy, and he had stuff uh, that didn't that was stuck to him. So let me just put it that way. Yeah, so I had to clean him up. Yeah, he's a clean little guy. Yeah, I think he's part cat, my dog. Yes, the Pekingese seem to act like cats. He even licks himself. Yeah, he's a little cat at heart, and yeah, so mommy had to freshen him up this morning. So it's a whole thing. Maybe I had to take like a half an hour cleaning up everything. Got my bleaching water, wiped down the floors and everything. Yeah, I want to still keep everything clean. And when you're on steroids, it's on a steroid that actually uh, holds back his immune system, and so that's not good. So I want to keep everything clean to not add to his system. Let's see. Oh, his potassium. Yeah. See, I know I'm right about a lot of things. Because I had told the doctors the last, I said, well, if he's peeing more, his electrolytes. But they tell you don't give him any salt, you know. Um, but when you pee a lot, and it's just a lot of pee, um, it's his electrolytes. So yeah, his electrolytes did, potassium levels did decrease. But I should have pushed the issue and said, okay, well, how are you going to compensate this? He's losing potassium. So what are you going to do about it? I don't want to wait. Why wait till something fall off? You know, you want to fortify right now. I want him to have everything what he needs to have to thrive. Um, because he told me do not give bananas because they said we want to just rule out that certain foods because it could be a food issue that caused all this. um, I would tend to think what might have caused it was the kibble. That's what I really think. um, because it was food avoidance and they didn't want to eat it. And I heard on the internet, yeah, I shared it with the doctor, the video, that there was concern regarding certain brands of dog food, dry dog food. And that's what I really think. That, in addition to that place my dogs were staying at, was filthy. So, yeah. But you think after 4 months, people, that it would get better. So I'm wondering, people, what could it have been that got my babies sick? And for two of the three to actually pass away so quickly, what is causing it? So people, friends out there, um, if you hear of anything regarding the dog food, what if you have friends that have dogs and they had similar symptoms, you know, what's going on? I want to try to find out still, because my dogs were healthy. They left healthy. What could have caused all this? If it's just a matter of dog food, they're not on dog. They've had home cooked meals. They for about 2 months now. Yeah, I brought him home. Let's see. Oh, I think it was early March. Early March he came home, and yeah, I've been feeding him, home cooked food. I keep everything clean. I disinfect everything. His feeding bowl, everything. I wipe down everything with Clorox and water. Um, yeah. So if anybody, anybody else who might have come to Rwanda, I should check the. I hear there's a like a like a chat room or something for people living overseas. What experiences they might have had with their pets and things like that. Yeah, I better check that out if they have that. Yeah, maybe I'll do that because this is really costly. People taking the taxis here. Yeah, they don't really have a very reliable. bus system, and the buses they do have is extremely packed. And I have a little dog, so I take the taxi rides there. Um, yeah, so um, yeah, the doctor said don't give him the bananas because maybe he's allergic. But I've given him bananas back home. Yeah, I'll contact the doctor and inquire about the potassium. You know, because the doctor said his potassium levels went down. So give me a supplement or something for his electrolytes. You know, yeah, because like one by one thing, one thing affects something else. People. So yeah, I'm very concerned about him because he's my little guy and always always healthy. Man, the guy was boom. He was active, walks several miles a day. Yeah, we remember we used to go to Central Park, and he'll walk. We'll walk, boy. He loved walking. He was an active guy. So, um, so that's the update with Lavender. And please pray for him. And if you have any advice or information, what might have happened to you and your pet overseas in an exotic country, how did you get your dog out of the woods, so to speak? How did you get your dog healthy and acclimated and all that? Yeah. Okay, so I got that. Yeah, I talked long enough about that. But just want to let you guys know what's going on. So, what else here? Yeah, I want to talk about next this vision I had that I had. Oh, almost it was last. Let's see. I think it was last week, either last week or early this week. Yeah, I had a vision. Yeah, and many of you who might, those of you who are new to the channel, yeah, I do meditation. I would wake up from sleeping or dreaming. And I have this method of keeping my mind still, keeping my eyes closed upon awakening, and kind of like move my consciousness forward, and as if my eyelids, my closed eyes, and the lids act as a screen, and I'm looking straight ahead with my eyes closed. And when I do that, oftentimes I have a vision. And so what I saw this time, yeah, sometimes it's hard to see what I'm seeing. Sometimes it's like you see things happening quickly, moving quickly in my vision. And it's really hard to point out what something is. Well, what I did gather with this last one, I saw a vision of a woman, slim build. She was on the ground. I think this was outside. Um, and it was very faint, um, almost translucent. Like sometimes when I'm seeing something, it's as if it's an overlay, like a layer that you see, like in computers. Um, you have software that you could manipulate a video, the transparency of the visual you're looking at. Uh, Something that has you can make it very faint or kind of even translucent, and you could build layer upon layer of the image that you're producing. But this was like a very faint layer, and what it looked like it was outside. It was a woman. Um, I don't know who she was. Um, and her arms were over her head, like she was on her side. She was like kind of like moving back and forth, like lying down on the floor, but like she's in distress. and and you see her arms above her head, and um, rolling, from side to side. It was weird. And I noticed she had something on covering her head, and I want to see um, I want to look for it over the internet if I could find the same device. Yeah, she was wearing some type of device over her head, and I remember seeing there was a strap on the back of her head. Yeah, so um, it looked like a m- I the best word I can think of is like a muzzle or something, some type of cut. It wasn't a gas mask because that's fully enclosed, but it looked like okay. It was very quick, but um, it looked like it was made out of maybe a leather or something. Like okay, her face was covered. Um, the device looked like a almost like a muzzle. It was made out. It looked like leather strips, and the leather strips came like in the mouth area, like it came forward. It ran along the side of the face and the mouth. It came forward, and it came to a blunted point. So imagine a giant ice cream cone, but the tip of the ice cream cone is made flat. And if it's flat, it's like a ring, a disc. And that diameter might have been, let's say, 2 inches diameter. And the leather strips were maybe an inch and a half in width, and it ran in, and the length of it long enough to cover the side of the face and come down. It might have protruded away from the mouth, maybe 3 or 4 inches away from the mouth. And then it was a perpendicular bands of the leather that ran uh, perpendicular to the stripes coming forward from the face. You know, um, think of like a basket or something that has kind of like woven, So the strips were perpendicular to each other, some coming forward and others perpendicular to that. And I distinctly saw that she had uh, a strap on the back of her head. Again, she is lying on the ground, and I'm like in front of her, like oh, um, think above her, slightly above her. Um, I was maybe 2 yards away from her or something, and I'm watching this, and that was it. So I'm wondering, hey people, have any of you ever saw a device like that? A a a a type of muzzle or something, made out of leather, and I'm why I would see something like this. I'm wondering, is this something futuristic? I mean, something in the near future that's happening. Why am I seeing this? Yeah, I did have my device, my computer on at the time, and I always mention things like that. At least I like to, because yes, if you have Wi-Fi on and things like that, your computer on, and it's near you, that can influence what you see, what you dream, and all that. So I'm just putting that out there. Um, yeah, I thought it was weird. Yeah, the things that I'm seeing it happened very quick. Like you see something, then what you're seeing, it's a new scene, and something else visually happens, and it changes. Yeah, like, very 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 quickly. So sometimes it's really hard to follow what I'm actually looking at. Sometimes I don't know what I'm looking at. Sometimes you see colors of things. Um, but not really understanding what you're seeing because it's very faint sometimes. So again, it happens so quickly. You want to put things in context also. Yeah, so that's what happens. And yeah, I think and I've mentioned this before. I'm very hesitant now since the dream that I had, not the dream, the vision about the the African fellow that I saw with the spear. It that scared me. You know, it could be scary when what you think is a vision is interacting with you. You know, so it's really something about what is the mind, what is consciousness, that something that you are observing can observe you also. It's very confusing. Very, very confusing. Again, I'm old school in the sense that uh, I only believe what I could experience. That metaphysics and all that is hogwash. If you can't touch it, uh, hear it, and see, but again, yes, I am seeing something, but it's my imagination, isn't it? When your imagination can interact with you, it's not imagination, people. Your mind or whatever your essence could be observed, and that I find it could be a little intimidating. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what you might know about different things. Yeah, I want to look on the internet to see if I can find different the things that I'm seeing, the objects. Do they exist? You know. Yeah, it's quite yeah, this whole thing on reality. I know I say, I'm looking for truth, I'm looking for answers. Well, people, the truth could be spooky. The truth could be spooky because again, you raise like how I'm raised that you know everything is make believe. Things on TV, they're all make believe, and find out that some things aren't make believe. Some things are actually in existence. Being able to what they call astral project. Yeah, I took a course in astral projection, and I got a little scared. Yeah, so this was in 2016. That's 2016. It was early in the year, and even though I didn't actually go all the way with it, but it started to. Yeah, and it's something because power, and you've heard of people say, I want power, power. Well, power is almost like another entity. Power, things, abilities could be quite intimidating, even if you have the ability. Because if you never manifested it before and then someone teaches you something and then wow, it's a responsibility with it. Abilities come with it responsibilities. I'm going to say that again. Abilities has responsibilities attached to it. And I realized that when the African guy with the spear, here I'm thinking I'm just meditating. Well, something happened and it interacted with me. And so it's a responsibility because I'm not here to invade anybody's space, nor do I want anyone to invade my space. That's what I want to live by. I'm uh, do what you want someone to do. You don't want anybody to do things to you that you don't want them. If you don't want someone to do it to you, don't do it to them. And I think that's a good a good belief system. But again, I am a seeker, seeker of truth, trying to find out what is happening in the world. Is very, you know, like many of us say, even that movie that says, you can't handle the truth. That movie, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, the truth is frightening. The truth can be very, very frightening. Yeah, we had a visitor, uh, a viewer a moment ago. Well, a welcome viewer. Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah, so yes, with abilities come responsibilities with it, you know. Yeah, don't abuse your gifts. Never abuse your gift, and that's one thing I don't want to uh, abuse these things, but I want to understand them, understand what's going on. Um, yeah, I don't understand a lot of things that happen, so I don't know whether. Yeah, even before I came down here to Rwanda, yeah, I kind of did hands off with the doing the vision thing when I first arrived. Yeah, I was just overwhelmed with everything, just trying to raise and get things done, um, but just a little bit. So yeah, so I did find a place not too far from where I live, so a place that does meditation. So yeah, maybe I give him a call today, find out. Yeah, the website didn't give much information, so maybe some things you just gotta call and find out what they do, how much is it, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's regarding the vision, and yeah, I'll look it up if this thing is on the internet. Yeah, yeah. I remember before I had this vision some couple of years ago, and it was a riot. It was a I was it was a no, I have to back up a little. It wasn't a vision. It was a dream, but it seemed very real. That's why I thought it was a vision at first. Yeah, I was dreaming at the time. Well, let me shift over. Yeah, I was dreaming, but I think some dreams are not just fanciful moments. I feel this was something that was really happening. Oh, yeah, I was back. I was in New York City. Yeah, I was living in New York City at the time, and the vision was at a scene in Harlem. The area looked like where a cousin of mine used to live. It was outdoors, and there was a police chase or something, and I remember some cars. It could have been, it was some car. I forget whether it was the police car or the individual had a car. I remember it skidding and a door opening, and this man, it was a black man. A cop did something to this man, adult male, tall. And then the next scene I see were a bunch of cops. Well, I'm sorry, law enforcement or something. There were people wearing gear, riot gear. But this was a couple of years ago. The colors, what they were wearing was weird. It was a pale, pasty blue, the uniforms. And they had, I think the helmets also was that funny blue color, pale blue. And they had like a shield, and they had it on the ground. It was standing vertically, and it was a long one. It came up to maybe it was maybe even a little bit above their waist. It stood that tall. Yeah, it was like a glass or plastic shield or something. And I remember how the light reflected off of the uniform and the shield. And it looked extremely real. And I was with a man, a black guy. He could be like in his 40s, 50s, or something like that. And I felt like I knew him. And I remember I was running with the, I think he sold like a vendor or something, he was selling things on the street, he had like a cloth on the sidewalk and he was selling wares or something like that. And I thought I knew him. And we were in dialogue or something. And to my left there was those cops. I feel that this is I don't know, but I just feel this is something. I don't know whether it was a parallel life happening or whether it's something futuristic. Yeah, yeah, because the police don't wear those type of outfit, the color. But the UN does. The UN has like a security force or something, and they wear this funny blue stuff. I found out, but I never saw gear like that. I went on the internet to try to see if I could find gear like that. I don't remember the details of it now, but I'm wondering, was this something? It looked real. It looked and it felt real. Yeah, visually, it looked like I was actually there, living it. So who knows? But yeah, I want to try to keep aware of some of these things, whether to remember them and document them because they might come about in the future. Just thinking out loud right now. So now, okay, I'm looking at the time. I've been on for 41 minutes. The next thing I want to talk about is current events. Current events. Yeah, I found out earlier in the afternoon that I'll just say, oh, OJ, the he was a football player. I heard that he just passed away. He was 76 years old. May he rest in peace. Um, yeah. Again, my discussion now regarding OJ and other current events. Again, I do not wish my motive of speaking what I'm going to speak about. I do not want to appear insensitive to the victims because again with that what happened in the 1990s, people, this is a long time ago. I think it was in 1993 that incident happened, and there was a court case. I think the court case was lasted 2 years, a court case. Yeah, what's really weird about it, those of you who old enough to remember, this was a major deal. I remember I was walking in my mother's room, and she had a TV in her room. And I remember they called that the Bronco chase, the white Bronco chase. I'm wondering what was going on. Yeah, I had just, boy, I don't remember what month it was. It took place in California. Southern California is warm all year. So, and I was living in New York City at the time. So I forget. I remember, let's see. Yeah, because I knew who OJ was. I'm not into football or anything like that. But this was like a major thing. And back in the 90s, we didn't have the same type of cell phones like we have now. I mean, some industry had cell phones. There were these really big devices, and but like what we have today, the smartphones, or all that. We didn't have it back then. So news was what people shared on television, and televisions are controlled by, private companies, right? Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Welcome. Talking about current events now. Heard about OJ. Okay, so yeah, back then in those days, any news about somebody, uh, it was television news. They controlled all the news and the newspapers, but primarily it was television, the TV news that would give it. They were like the gatekeepers of what was supposed to be true. But now we see that the media, the mainstream news, uh, like to fib. They like to distort truths, in my opinion. They want you to think a certain way. They want to manipulate the way you think. I used to think the news was 100% truth. I was so deceived. I was so deceived, people. Yeah, it's not the truth. It's oh, they want to shape your reality, and they do what they do for a reason. It's not about truth. And those people that you see giving the news are not real reporters. They just regurgitate what is presented to them. When you go to the movie, I mean the television uh, studio, I knew someone who worked um, the clients. It was in a studio, television studio, and they had to make repairs on stuff. And they saw that the papers that are, you see all these papers on the desks, it's a script, people. Everything, even the jokes that they say, it's all scripted, the person told me. Yeah, that's what they told me, honey. And so now with that knowledge, and then you see them talking, I thought that the people that you see on that they gathered information that is what they got, so they know the news because they researched it. No, 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 no. They didn't research anything. They didn't research anything, people. They just get a script, they put on the desk. That's why they get these awards. What was that? I think they call them Emmys, the Emmy Awards. That's daytime uh, television. Daytime television. They get Emmys, and the news report, the news people, they get Emmys because they know it's fake, it's scripted. So, well, anyway, so going back from, what's that, 1993, boy, that would make it, oh my God, I think that's 30 years, people, 31 years. 31 years ago, people. This is 31 years ago. This chase. It was major, major, major news. It got the airways for hours, it seemed. They just focused on it. They had live footage with the so-called chase. Okay, for those of you who don't know about that case, again, this happened 31 years ago. You have a celebrity, OJ. He was one of the top of his day. He was one of the top performers of American football. He won the Heisman, I think, of the Heisman Trophy award. And then I was told that he had an 11-year uh, play. 11 years he was in the field of football. That his career lasted about 11 years. And then he broke into television, commercials. And I remember at the time with the commercials, I didn't know who he was. See, I didn't follow football, American football. And you see a guy, he's a black fellow, and they show him running and leaping. But now I know because that's what he used to do. He ran. He played football and he'd be running. So yeah, I remember run OJ run. Yeah, I remember that. And again, I didn't know who he was, but he was doing these commercials. And I'm just moving my dishes. Excuse me. They're just shifting things over. Let me move this. It's getting a little cold in the room. I'm putting the blankets on my feet. Okay. So yeah, okay, make sure to move. Yeah, okay. So I'm just shifting things over. So yeah, I remember also he did that commercial, very popular commercials, and then he started doing television and movies. Yeah, he would guest on movies, um, and so yeah, that was like in the 19s. Was that late 70s, 80s? He did those commercials and then movies. And then one day, fast forward from the time of those commercials, now he was well liked. He was I never met him or anything like that, but he was well liked in the media. Everybody liked OJ. Everybody liked him. Um, then one day, so here he had a very positive image, and I never heard any controversy about him until this, what they call the Bronco chase. See, what had happened was there was a horrible, horrible double uh, homicide. Okay. I don't want to say the M word, but yeah, there was that M word. And um, it was his former wife and a waiter that, because earlier that day, they had their demise in the evening, sometime around 10 something p.m. And OJ had a trip he had to fly overseas somewhere. Uh, but it was awful. But I remember in the very beginning, when the news started coming out, um, you wonder what this thing is, what happened, because I didn't know about the M word. I didn't hear that part of the news yet, but they were, the wife and the waiter had their demise, and so he was allegedly trying to escape, and he had disguises. They said they had his friend was doing the driving, and OJ allegedly had these disguises or something with him. He was to escape. What was that? Oh, wait, let me back up a little bit. Okay, I think, okay, the demise happened and he had gone away. And then, but he was being, when the police came to the scene, well, why did the police come to the scene of the crime scene? Well, the wife had a dog, and the dog was howling or crying or something. The dog was in distress. And they claimed the neighbor came out to investigate. And when the neighbor came to investigate, they see the dog and then bodies. They saw the two bodies and called the authorities. When the police came to the scene, um, there was a particular officer there. I think detective, not officer, a detective, police detective that was there, and said right away that when they went in the house because the door was open. I think the door was open, or the bodies was right by the door, and they were able to go inside. And when they saw a photo of OJ, the detective said, I bet this person has everything to do with this homicide. Yeah, they had a very violent death. And again, condolences to the friends and family of the people who had their demise. And at the house, they had children up directly above. The bedroom was directly above the crime scene. And he was a suspect. He became a suspect. Good boy, my little boy's drinking water. Good boy, Lavender. Good boy. Good boy. You're my good boy. I just petted him. Good boy, Lavender. Okay. So, yeah, he was a suspect right away. And there was other things about it, like what I remember, the day of the demise. Uh, it was said that he was sneaking back in the house. He drove his car back home, and he had a guest living in the house, and the guest was saying that he heard banging and something bumping, and allegedly saw OJ. But it doesn't look good for OJ. And what I thought was interesting at the time was all the fingers were pointing at him, but the witnesses seemed very problematic. I knew back then, yeah, and back then they didn't have a lot of black people on television. Not like what you see today. It wasn't like that. This is 31 years ago, about 31 years. Um, very few black people you see in the media. You did have Oprah. I don't even think they had this other guy that had a talk show, Montel Williams. Yeah, 93. Yeah, he could have had his show then. But basically, he had some newscasters, but very few. But anytime you did see black people on television, um, they were all criminals. The rap industry wasn't as it is today, but it was all negativity. Everything you saw about black people was all negative. We're all criminals and this and that. And I had very, very low self-esteem. People. I didn't like myself. I felt shame being the black heritage. I hated it. I hated people not believing you or assuming you're a criminal just because of your race. And that was the environment that I came out from, people. Yeah, this is 31 years ago, about 31 years ago. Yeah. So, but it was just the media went on a frenzy. Again, things like, homicides happen all the time in these big cities. So why was it so, because again, OJ was like a hero to many people. Um, he was well liked in the media, well liked. But all of a sudden, everything switched overnight, and he was an immediate suspect. And then, well, the detective, um, they were, yeah, because there was a funeral and everything, and I think he came to the funeral, and immediately he was, people, the family of the victims. Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. It was a horrible thing that happened to these two people. Um, but a lot of fishy stuff. It just how people were acting about all this. If he did it, shame on him. But even to this day, I question the narrative. I question it. Why, if someone is such a hero, and then the intensity and the hatred for the guy, and it was divided by, it was polarizing. It's like all whites. It was like a white and black thing, and how the whites were acting very intense against him. And then you had the black population that had sympathy for him. Me at the time, I was suspicious about the behavior, the intensity of the animosity towards him. Again, he was loved, and then boom, overnight. Yeah, it was a big mess, big mess. It was the trial of the century. Um, yeah, it was more intense. Yeah, Michael Jackson also. Michael Jackson was under scrutiny back then. Yeah, I was coming back. Yeah, there was a Michael Jackson case. Yeah, yeah, that was in the early. Yeah, because I was living with family back then. And I remember I had to get up early, to get to work. And during breakfast, I would be watching the news. And yeah, there was a court case with Michael Jackson at that time. So, yeah, it was so it's like again, only negativity that was happening, and you had two high-profile Black people, Black Americans, and how white people were responding, and it made me uncomfortable. Yeah, so going back with the OJ. Um, so yeah, there was a trial that lasted about 2 years, and OJ, the conclusion on that hearing, that court case, was he was acquitted of all charges. But then there's what you call, oh, what's that other thing? I said I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. Like there's a criminal trial, and then there's the other type of trial when about damages. Um, if if there's enough circumstantial evidence, you can sue. And so yeah, they after the trial, that he got acquitted, and I remember the crying. I heard the crying in the background, and the lawyers. He had a team of lawyers, white and black lawyers. But guess who they vilified? The black lawyer. And he had white lawyers too. And I remember one of his lawyers, I don't remember exactly, but I don't remember whether they left the case or something, but they started bad mouthing him. This was your client. And then, oh, you decide you're going to respond the way you did. I thought, isn't this something? You hired somebody to represent you, and then you're going to poo-poo your client and vilify the black lawyer. I said, look at this. Yeah. Um, I've never seen anything like this before. Of lawyers pointing fingers at other lawyers and you work together. They had a team of lawyers. Must have cost them a fortune. But they were all vilified. And who was considered victim were the lawyers of um, the people that were accusing him of a crime. They were now the new victims. It was like, wow, never saw anything like this. Yeah, so there was another, I think again, I forget the terminology, but when you don't have to like win a case in order to be able to sue for damages if it's a circumstantial evidence, whatever, and they won, yeah. Um, so he had to pay up things. His career was ruined. OJ's career was ruined at that point. White people hated him, and I never understood the viciousness of the attitude towards him of an event. And why is he like this, people? See, also around this time, at least during the trial, there was another high profile but didn't get as much coverage. There was a famous actor of his day, Robert Blake. He was, back in the 1970s, he had a show called Beretta, and he played a part like I think he played a detective or something like that. It was a good show. I liked the show at the time, and he also is the same man that played on The Little Rascals. Yeah, yeah. I forget the name, but yeah, he was one of the characters on The Little Rascals, the latter version, the latter years of the Little Rascals or Our Gang. They're known by both names. But yeah, he was one of the cast members of that show. Yeah, he played a sweet little boy. Yeah, but yeah. So um, what happened with Robert Blake? I don't know whether he's still alive, but now I thought this case was more compelling. Um, he had a wife or girlfriend, I forget, but they had a child together. And he said that his wife was being threatened by somebody. So um, the husband, Blake, carried this, bang bang at the restaurant. And then something how did it go now? That like he left because he something like he forgot his bang bang at the restaurant or the car, something that sounds foolish. And then when he said he came back with the bang bang, his wife or girlfriend was got her demise. Wait a minute, it just sounds so phony. But the media treated him differently. The news outlets, they even brought up the fact that he was a former Little Rascals actor back in the day. Yeah, yes, people. I remember the news reporter, one of those, what do you call it? Tabloid news. It's like an entertainment, but they give news on it. I forget what you call them. Yeah, they're very popular of the day. And they even did a story on him and really trying to boost his image. They went out the way to give him excellent public relations, PR. Yes, I remember that. And to feel sorry for him. Now again, I like the Little Rascals and I like the Beretta, but I'm listening to it, and his stories sound very, in my opinion, it seemed hard to swallow, very hard to swallow. I mean, you were having an argument with her, and then you're going to carry a bang bang, and then you forget your bang bang at the restaurant, and when you came back to the car, your wife is gone. Got her demise. It was just so hard to swallow. They were covering for him. The media was covering for him. Whether again, people are, according to the law, you're innocent until proven guilty. But with OJ, he was already guilty. The media was saying he was guilty. But Robert Blake was a different story. And they're both very, Blake, it just seemed really far fetched. But with OJ, it seemed it was the people's behavior. The detective that was at the scene allegedly planted evidence. And so if someone is guilty of something, you don't have to plant evidence against them. Yes, hello, Vera. Good morning here in Rwanda. Yeah, I'm talking about OJ, the late OJ, and heard that he passed away. He was about 76 years old. Wow. Um, yeah, the detective at the scene allegedly planted evidence. He was right away saying when he saw his photo um, at the scene, at photo at the lady's house. So I bet he did it. I bet he's responsible. So everything, why? And I'm wondering whether, I mean, I'm just going to say, this is what I feel. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. But my feeling was that, and it's Hollywood. And you see that with Hollywood, it's like an army, it seems, that the people in charge of Hollywood seem to have a lot of control over the people, the other performers, the actors and actresses. And they have so much power, they could buy, um, they can buy the authorities. They have ability to hire people who know how to do certain things to make something look like an accident, but it wasn't. All these things that are coming forward. Didn't know that they had that ability. It sounds far fetched, but now currently, all these things that you're hearing, that you're seeing. See, now everybody got a camera. Everybody got a camera, and so now you see, you don't need the tabloids anymore. You have private, you have people, what do you call it? Independent news. Anybody could be an independent reporter now. You have your phone, you're at the right place at the right time, you have information. Everyone has one. And so the reality that you have Tinseltown, and for whatever reason, someone is angry with you. Someone becomes angry at you for whatever reason. And Hollywood's very temperamental, but something is triggering something else. And I feel that he was set up. by the behavior. It was something that was purely organic in nature, an event organic in nature. You don't have to plant evidence on somebody if they're guilty. Just anything. The witnesses were problematic. You had neighbor was a what do you call it? A maid that was living next door, and the testimony of some of the witnesses were being squashed if it didn't fit the narrative, and the maid or the nanny uh, had to flee to her home country because she didn't say the narrative. She said a group of people, more than one person running from the scene, and they were wearing these, you know, disguise, all black or something like that. It looks suspicious. So she's seen this more than one person. And the crime scene was already fudged because they didn't secure the scene. Why wouldn't you do that, dude? Why? Why wouldn't you secure a crime scene? So it's all tainted. And you really want to be able to get accurate information. But so, because the witnesses, they had a different narrative that they had to flee, made me suspicious. It made me think, and again, back in those days, 31 years ago, they didn't have the type of um, drama like this, Yeah, the world was just the news was very um, cornered, it's just television and newspapers, and you really didn't have independent reporting. So you just believe what you hear. Um, yeah, truth speaks for itself. And if someone was that doing things in a rush, they would make a lot of mistakes. I I kind of lean to think that he was set up. That maybe he did come by and he saw what was happening and he left. And that's what I'm thinking what happened. He became scared for his life. You knew something was up. And the waiter, and again, I'm not here to shame anybody. That's not my, you know, that's not my focus here. But just information. Now, it was said that the waiter and the woman knew each other and were seeing each other on the side. And at a pretense, what it looked like, that she left the glasses there at her table so that the waiter could come by her home in the evening. Now, if you, I don't know. Now, someone leaving their glasses at a table. Why would you go over somebody's house at 10 something at night? I wouldn't want anybody to come over my house at 10 something at night. You just in the morning. Hey, you left the glasses here, I'll leave it at the front desk or something. You just come by and get it. But you're gonna go at nighttime. And she's in her pajamas. I don't know. Not pajamas, not nightgown. I mean, like pajamas. It just looked, I don't know. I don't know. And and I don't know that speculate again, all speculation about what was attached. What was the status of the waiter? What was his background? What was involved in? See, all these things, and it's like, whoa! Again, now I don't know what happened. And it's very sad because he's gone now and she's gone. Something happened. Why did it happen? And I just feel there's something more to the story that's not being said. That's what I'm feeling. There's something more to it. I know with the one thing that he just was a jealous man, and but why would he need to come back there? Why would he go back there? I don't know. Why did any of those things happen? I don't think he did it. I know that's what they want you to think. Um, I don't know. So he had a good lawyer. He had a good team of lawyers, and he got acquitted. It was sad still. It was a sad, I remember the media, what the media did. They showed different audiences. They showed a white audience of them gasping when the verdict was written that he was acquitted. And then they showed a black scene and everybody yaying. And I feel that all this was all drawn out just to elicit what was being elicited. That is about energy. And it's to dig up energy, to generate energy, to generate chaos. It wasn't about truth. It wasn't about finding out who was the bad person who did this, but about pointing a finger because of who someone is that they had to do it. That's what my concern was and still is. So fast forward now with current event, what's happening now? Isn't this something? And it's just like even back then, how blacks in general are they like to extract as much energy, harness as much energy when a black American is involved in something or allegedly involved in something. Okay, so you had the OJ. The OJ trial was the first public lynching of its kind, with a so-called celebrity, high profile person. And then it was Michael Jackson. And then with Michael Jackson, now um, they wanted to vilify him. Now he had several at least two police raids of his home. Now, if you are doing what they claim you're doing, people with that type of lifestyle, they are sloppy about their activities. They get cocky. And if he was into what he was into, they would have had an entourage, a deluge of evidence in his place. But they found nothing. Nothing. Yeah, it's like they extract. It was like a shaming, a whipping. And this happened to him several times. Why? My feeling about it is that he pissed somebody off. What did he piss somebody off? Well, he had he had invested in this catalog that was priceless, and the industry that Michael Jackson was in wanted it, and they were out to get it. That's my opinion. That is what that's what my feelings are saying. Um, And then again, back in those days, I'm thinking, well, music is, it's just music. But music is more than just music. It's about influencing an audience of people, the music industry. The music industry manipulates, it shapes public opinion, it shapes culture, it shapes behavior, especially now with the videos. See, the, the, back in the day, it was just you have a radio and you get your records, and then everyone had the cassette tapes, and then they start doing the DVDs. I mean, the CDs. And then video was introduced in the 1980s, and it took off. Yeah. So now you have not so before it was just audio, but now you got the visual attached to the audio. You can really manipulate an audience. You can really manipulate young people. It's the young people that mostly listen to the music, right? It's catering to young people, and it shapes behavior. It shapes attitude. And whatever you think about Michael Jackson, um, they try to set him up. And it was and who was setting him up? It seemed like it was always people from outside of the Black community who were really on him, were people that from outside of the community who went out their way to get inside his life. And when that movie was made on Michael Jackson a couple of years back, I did not see it, but I saw the interviews of people who did see it. Commentators who were given a preview of the documentary. They call it documentary, and it was very problematic. The documentary, uh, because the people who were not interviewed for that documentary, the last documentary against Michael Jackson, very problematic. And Oprah was, I spoke on oh, she had something involved with involved with the documentary. She at least interviewed two of the people who had a complaint against Michael Jackson. Again, Oprah started as a reporter, but yet the type of report she wasn't serving as a reporter at that point. She wasn't asking good questions as a reporter, but that to support the narrative. This is very sad when you have people who know better, and as it pertains to what they were trained in. She's trained as a reporter. Now it's just gossip. Yeah, and the news that started really leaking about the people who had a complaint against it that were in the documentary, the last one against Michael Jackson. It's very problematic. Key people were excluded from the documentary. And it put a lot of light. Michael Jackson had a niece, and Michael Jackson introduced the niece to the person who complained, or he had, how to go now? That the said victim asked Michael Jackson to give an introduction. So if you or someone who is into the same sex. You want to be pursuing a young girl's virginity. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it doesn't fit. It does not fit. Nothing fit in that. It just seemed baloney, real baloney about that. It was horrible. Again, it's about extracting and shaming 21st century style. Not about the truth, about again, it's shaming black people. It seems like that more energy is directed, it is harnessed, I should say, more energy is harnessed, in my opinion, when there's a black person involved. And another thing to point, R. Kelly, court case with him. Same type of thing. But that one would seem more, they showed footage, and it seemed like um, a closed, open and closed, case. The evidence was there. But why did it last so long, people? See, this is also another concern that I have about this current reality system. You have events that happen. You have people who are doing things, but nothing is happening against them until. So it seems that what it looks like, especially in this music industry. Okay, just watching my dog. Listen to the Okay, yeah. My little dog, he just had to reposition himself. Yeah, I'm still very protective over him because he's still not out of the woods yet. His health is delicate. Okay, going back to this thing now. So, R. Kelly, the information with him, um, it was he was doing this for a long time, but nothing stuck. And then now, and then you had also Bill Cosby. Again, it's that extracting. And at this point, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It's about gathering energy and hype, having people see, people getting, making people angry, I wonder why. Why is this? Again, Bill Cosby was loved for many years. Then he gets arrested, and then something happens, and I think they released him. And isn't what happened, what was, whether he did it or not, what was the issue? It seemed what was coming out was that he that oh God, Bill Cosby wanted to buy a particular station. It could have been Channel 4. And they didn't want that to happen. And so now they go in there, what it looked like. What it looked like. They didn't want him to buy it. So let's dig up the past, find these women that have, so it's like they allow things to occur and get them off until they want to be independent. So when they want to be independent, do their own thing, they dig up an arsenal that in the past wasn't prosecuted, but now somehow it's sticking for the first time. So that's with Bill Cosby, and that's with R. Kelly, and now the latest, uh, the initials PD. Yeah, he's been in the industry for many years. They initially made fun of him in the media. Yeah, the media did not like black people, did not like rap artists. You didn't want, there was, it was a separate world. But now this hip hop culture, now you have a lot of white people, a lot of everybody who listen to that genre of music. You look at the concerts, who's in the front row? Hello. It's just an observation. That's what I'm doing now. I'm observing. I'm observing what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing trends and how the media responds to things. Again, it has nothing to do with truth or falsehood. It's about an agenda, in my opinion. In my opinion. And yeah, this latest with the current rap artists, um, they're saying, oh, sorry, horrible things that he's allegedly doing, and it's like a frenzy again. This information seems more clean cut because they have uh, recordings. So why would I mean people? Why would you when you're committing a crime and you're going to ask the person next to you to take videos with your camera? Why would you do that? Why would you take a stupid pill like that and do that? They could use it against you. See that? People, does that make sense to you? You're a predator, and then you're going to ask someone to take videos or pictures of you committing a crime? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That's what it looks like it's happened. It's really weird, people. Really, really weird. And I can't stop seeing videos, countless videos of tabloids, uh, people being interviewed, alleged victims. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. People who are friends of the individual, uh, people who were allegedly at these parties. What are these parties for? Never knew that the industry like that was like that. Didn't I'm just thinking back in the day. You want to be a performer, you're a singer, and you have an employer, and you create music and you sell them and go home. But now it seems like the music industry is reminding me of, we call it Hollywood. They all overlap. Music, acting, they just seem to be in the same genre, same mindset to influence people. And people are not making sense anymore. People are being so bold. Um, People are being invited to these parties, and it's not just other music artists. You have, they said, politicians go to these parties. You have people in the movie industry. Everybody, um, people are getting these invites. Why would you? What is forming these businesses? Like it's like Jeffrey Epstein that allegedly committed suicide, who was allegedly human trafficking young girls uh, and prostituting them. And he did it for years. And again, we had someone who complained years ago And it was pretty much dismissed, but then someone else got wind of it. Someone else complained. How are they able to do these wicked things for so long against minors? How does this occur? And I'm thinking, hey, is the music industry an extension of Hollywood? And we see what Hollywood is doing. Is that all what this is about? About entrapment? About controlling people through the music, through these actors and actresses, and then making them do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. Remember recently, this was relatively recent. This could have happened 1 year ago. You had an actress. She has a hairdresser. And moments before her demise, she goes to a hairdresser to get a disguise, to get a wig from the person and other things. And then the next thing you see, she's driving frantically in the street, and then the car rams into a private person's home. And then you see the fire police. And then you see a body bag. Why would you keep a live person in a body bag? And then the person broke free, and you see uh, the fireman. And you had this one fireman with his hands behind his back, like he's like making sure, approval. It looked very sinister, and yet the lady consequently passed away. This is getting so spooky. And you had another guy, remember, oh, what's his name? I think his last name is Cappy. And yeah, he came out around the time, with the R. Kelly trial and all that was coming out. Yes, very, very bizarre. Yeah, he had social media and he spoke out against Hollywood. And he was in Hollywood, he was a small time actor, but had many friends in the business. And he gave warnings about certain things that could happen. And then he was seen running from somebody, and then he jumped, either fell or jumped off a bridge. It gets hit by a truck. Or it's like, I don't think these things are by accident. This is not by accident. And you have the gatekeepers in different um, occupations. You have gatekeepers. And if you go against the system, it seems so predictable now. I love my country, born and raised in America. And this melee is happening. People, people that seem like good people, and they start to speak out, and they reach their demise under shady circumstances. What is this media really about? What is the music industry really about? Why do people have all this time why would you want to drug somebody? Why would you want to get an underage girl to do something? Why would you do this? You have so many people who are willing to do a lot of things with people who have money. But it was happening. People getting caught. And some of them just don't even doesn't seem to even care that they get caught. Yes. Yeah, the country is going down the tubes. And I love my country. But I felt I had to get out. It needs resuscitation. It needs help. Please help America. Please pray for my country. I think people are in trouble. People are in trouble. You have the migrant situation in New York City. First, New York City will allow them in. What was that? I forget what you call it. The sanctuary city. I think that's what you call sanctuary city. They have so much freedom now. See that the illegals have more rights than the citizens. But now the mayor of New York City is now getting upset. He shouldn't have allowed it to happen. Yeah, it is a big mess. A big mess. So yeah, I feel that like even the Bible talks about like growing pains. So the earth is like in growing pains right now. Yeah, it's grieving. Its belly is churning over. And yeah, I think there's going to be a purging. And I don't follow the religion anymore, but there's certain truths that do come out in these religious books. Something is being set up. A new system is being ushered in. The old system, the people who control, the people in government, the demographics. They also want to change everything through demographics. They're removing mainstream white America, and they're also removing Black America as well. Now they're getting new people, but it's not going to be the same quality. The quality is lost. I mean, 40 years ago, you had better quality of goods. You had variety. Now it's slop that you get. You're getting slop, and I don't like that. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, it's on a free fall downward spiral, and I'm very sad about this. And there was just total chaos happening in New York City, and I just felt that I felt I was being pushed out for a while. Oh, the attitude of the newcomers. Um, you don't have to learn the language. You don't have to, it's just a free for all. I don't see any love or real affection to America. People are just using it as a meat ticket, and I don't like that. I don't. So these are thoughts that are in my vision. These thoughts, these things that happen, and I believe it's happening by design. Please save America. I love the country, and I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone there. I'm concerned about the people running for office. You're really not even given a choice anymore. You're really not given a choice. And so consequently, I left. I left New York City. And it's very problematic. I I feel that I made overall the best choice for me at that time. I only regret the harm that it befallen my little girls and my little boys suffering. That's the only thing I regret. Because they're innocent. My little babies, my little dogs, I should say, were innocent. And I felt I wanted to create a new life for them and myself. So I'm here in another country. It's not perfect, but it's but I like it. I'm really starting to enjoy the physical environment. It's a beautiful place. I meet some really interesting people, and I wanted to work after all this mess I've been through. I wanted to work. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, people. I know I've been on for a while. Yeah, I feel very concerned about the public relations and what's happening in the media. You have good people in America, but the toxic environment is contaminating us. Yes, we need prayers, and I pray for um, deliverance of this current system that it wants to take over. That's not about people. It's not about protecting people. It's about creating a narrative that's been exploited. So these are my thoughts, and I hope you receive it all with Thanksgiving. Um, yes. If you like this video, this content, please send me a little message. And then put a message in the comment section. Please let me know what you think, or if you have other ideas about what I'm talking about. Let me know. So, people, I thank you again for this moment of time. Peace, love, joy, and harmony to the viewers of this video. I thank you. Take care. Bye bye.